Nobody saw this coming. Not the fans, not the locals, not even some of his closest friends. One day, Johnny Depp was quietly living out what looked like the perfect dream, and the next, it was gone. Just like that. He's cancelled everything. Every plan. Every appearance. Every little piece of the life he was building in the Cotswolds, wiped clean, as if it never existed. And the question everyone's asking is simple: why? This wasn't just a house in the countryside. This was supposed to be his safe haven. His escape from years of chaos, noise, and endless headlines. A place where Johnny could finally just be Johnny. No costumes, no characters, no scripts. Just a man, his peace, and the quiet. So what could possibly make him walk away from all of it? To answer that, you have to rewind a little. For decades, we've watched Johnny Depp navigate a life that most of us couldn't even imagine. He's lived through dizzying highs. Iconic roles that became part of pop culture forever, sold-out music tours, awards and accolades from every corner of the world. But he's also weathered brutal lows, legal battles splashed across every tabloid, endless speculation, and the kind of public scrutiny that strips away any illusion of privacy. Through it all, there were moments when you could see the toll it was taking. The fatigue in his eyes. The way he carried himself. And yet, he kept going, kept creating, kept performing. Until, finally, the storms started to calm. The headlines slowed. The spotlight dimmed just enough for him to breathe. That's when the Cotswolds entered the picture. If you've never been there, picture this: rolling green hills stretching into the horizon. Tiny stone cottages that have stood for hundreds of years. Winding lanes lined with wildflowers. A rhythm of life so slow, it feels like the rest of the world has forgotten it exists. In the winter, the air smells like wood smoke curling from chimneys. In the summer, the fields hum with bees and the sound of a far-off church bell. For Johnny, it must have felt like stepping into another lifetime. Gone were the flashing cameras, the crowds, the constant noise. In their place? Silence. Space. Freedom. Locals saw him as just another neighbor. Maybe he'd be sitting in the corner of a cozy pub, pint in hand, listening to a folk singer strum a guitar. Maybe he'd stroll through the market, picking up bread and cheese, stopping to chat with a shopkeeper. No frenzy. No security detail clearing the way. Just a man blending into the fabric of a small village. For a while, it worked beautifully. It was the complete opposite of Hollywood, and that was the point. But here's the thing: sometimes the life that looks perfect from the outside feels very different on the inside. It started small. In a place as close-knit as the Cotswolds, everyone knows everyone. It's part of the charm, but it also means everyone notices when you're home, when you're away, and sometimes even what you're up to. Not because they're prying, it's just the nature of village life. But for someone who came there searching for privacy, even the friendliest curiosity can start to feel like a crack in the wall. Then there was the work. Johnny isn't the kind of person who can just sit still for months on end. He's a creator, through and through. Even in his so-called quiet years, opportunities would come calling. A script that caught his interest. A music tour that reignited his passion. A collaboration that was too good to turn down. And each time, it meant leaving. Packing a suitcase. Jumping on a plane. Immersing himself in a completely different world, long days on a film set, endless rehearsals for a concert, promotional tours that stretched across continents. Then, coming home to the Cotswolds meant hitting the brakes completely. From the high-energy chaos of production to the slow, steady hum of village life. One week, you're surrounded by hundreds of people on a set under hot lights. The next, you're alone in your kitchen, making tea while rain taps softly against the window. It sounds peaceful, and it was. But that kind of constant switching between extremes? It's exhausting. You never fully settle into one world before you're pulled back into the other. And while the Cotswolds isn't overrun with paparazzi, word spreads quickly when a Hollywood legend lives down the road. Even a few unexpected visitors or fans turning up can shake the stillness you're trying to protect. Little by little, what was meant to be an escape started to feel like another kind of trap. Not a loud one, but a quiet one. And here's the truth most people don't realize: sometimes it's not the noise that wears you down. It's the silence. We often imagine that moving somewhere beautiful will fix everything. That the scenery alone will heal us. But happiness isn't just about where you are, it's about whether the life that place offers actually matches who you are. And for Johnny, the Cotswolds, as breathtaking as it was, didn't fully fit. It's a place built for slowing down, for settling. But Johnny? He's not made to stop. He thrives when he's creating, playing music, filming, collaborating with other artists. A close friend once described him as someone who's happiest when he's juggling 1,000 ideas at once. That rush of creativity is like oxygen to him. Too much stillness, and it stops feeling like peace. It starts feeling like a cage. So maybe this was never about the Cotswolds being wrong. Maybe it was about realizing that the life he thought he wanted, quiet, distant, private, didn't match the man he actually is inside. And so the decision came. Johnny cancelled everything. The events. The appearances. The future he was building there. Gone in a single, deliberate choice. Which leaves us all wondering, was it the right move? Did he finally understand that his version of peace isn't about disappearing, but about doing the things that make him come alive? Or will there come a day when he looks back and wishes he'd stayed? Because walking away from something you've worked for is never easy. It's even harder when the whole world is watching, ready to interpret and judge. But maybe that's exactly why it matters, because it's proof he's choosing for himself, not for anyone else. So now the question becomes, what's next? Does he head back into the chaos of big cities? Or has he found another corner of the world where he can live on his own terms? If history has taught us anything about Johnny Depp, it's that there's always another chapter. Always another twist. And maybe that's why this story feels strangely familiar to so many of us. Haven't we all, at some point, chased something we thought was the answer, only to realize it wasn't? Maybe it was the dream job that ended up draining us. The relationship that looked perfect but left us lonely. The move we thought would change everything but didn't fix what was inside. We've all been at that crossroads, holding something we thought we wanted, asking ourselves if it's really worth keeping. Sometimes the bravest choice is letting go. Not because it failed, but because it no longer fits. For Johnny, letting go wasn't about running away. It was about freeing himself. And for a man who's lived so much of his life under a microscope, that kind of choice takes more courage than most people will ever realize. So here we are, one chapter closing, another waiting in the wings. And maybe, just maybe, the next one will surprise us all. But now I have to ask you, if you were in his place, would you choose the quiet countryside, with all its calm and privacy? Or would you keep moving, chasing new adventures, even if it meant stepping straight back into the noise? Because if there's one thing this story proves, it's that peace isn't a place on a map. It's a state of mind. And for Johnny Depp, that state of mind might be waiting somewhere completely unexpected.